Welcome to the podcast about investing in startups, where existing investors can learn how to get the best deal possible. And those that have never before invested in startups can learn the keys to success from the venture experts. Your host is Nick Moran, and this is The Full Ratchet.
Welcome to another special release of Investor Stories. On this installment, the experts discuss a startup that they did invest in, what the key factors were that led to yes, and how that investment has worked out. Here's the segment called Why I Invested. On today's special segment, we have Bryce Roberts of O'Reilly Alpha Tech Ventures and Indy VC. Bryce, can you tell us a story about a startup that you invested in, how you met the founder, and what ultimately made you say yes?
Yeah. So, wow. The one that really stands out was that I mentioned early on we've been super thematic, and we've been really interested in a bunch of different categories relatively early. So one of those categories was geo services. So early on, we were seeing the Alpha Geeks hack on Google Maps and doing these mashups and pulling data onto location and using location in interesting ways. And so this was a theme we were really interested in. And then one day I was on Flickr or somewhere, and I saw a friend of mine had commented on a picture posted by a guy named Dennis Crowley. And it was a great picture. Dennis was standing under a sign at Google, who had bought his last company called Dodgeball. And he was like flipping off. It was just him and his co-founder with like a big middle finger announcing that they were leaving Google, and in a pretty spectacular way, just wow. Really kind of burning that bridge behind them as they went. And I thought, wow, I gotta meet this guy. Like that's a pretty bold move. I need to see what he's up to. And so, in a roundabout way, we ended up having a bunch of different connections, and so got introduced to Dennis. He was still kind of figuring out what he was going to do next. And so we just had a friendship that started to build over a little while. And then, I can't remember exactly the year. It had to have been 2008 or 9, maybe, that he shot me an email right before he was going down to South by Southwest and said, "Hey, I've been working on this little thing. We're going to announce it at South by Southwest. We're going to launch it. I don't think it's a company, but just a heads up." And then a few months after South by Southwest, I got another email, which was like, "Hey, I think this is a company. Like we should probably talk." And so we were in a position, having built that relationship early on, to co-lead that seed round with our partners over there at Union Square Ventures with Foursquare, and we've been involved in that business ever since. But I've always really been. I just love people who are willing to put their neck out there, to say something different, to do something unpopular, to buck convention. And I was really fortunate to see that and to build that relationship with Dennis. And Foursquare has just been an amazing company to be involved with over the years.
On today's special segment, we have Jonathan Struhl of Indicator Ventures. Jonathan, can you walk us through a situation where you did decide to invest, what the key factors were that led you to yes, and how that investment has worked out so far?
It's actually a current company in portfolio right now, a company called Eden. Eden is a connected garden. So it's a smart garden system that monitors and tracks environmental conditions, really helping make your plants thrive. So think of Nest, but for your garden. I love IoT connected devices. More importantly, this company, we decided to invest because of the founder. Jason, who's the CEO, is an incredible, passionate, dedicated entrepreneur that we sat with a number of times and explained his vision for changing the world. And we believe that he could do it. And whether it's through Eden, we believe it will be, or through some sort of pivot or something down the line, we really made an investment in Jason. And when we look for investment, specifically in hardware, it's about mitigating risk, right? So we call our fund Indicator Ventures because we look for these key indicators when we invest. Hardware, the considerations, especially with Eden, was how are you going to make this thing? He partnered with one of the largest hardware manufacturing companies. So that mitigated that risk for us. It was an indicator. How are you going to distribute this thing? He partnered and actually got an investment from one of the largest home and gardening companies on the planet. That was another sort of mitigated risk for us, right? Distribution and manufacturing. And how are you going to design this thing? Eads Behar, who's Jawbone's brilliant designer and one of their founders, is an advisor and investor in Eden as well and has helped them. So along the way, as we were diligencing this company, Jason just kept knocking them down. Every concern we had, he had a perfect answer for. And there were so many people that believed in him. So Eden, can't say enough great things about Jason and Eden. But what I will say is we're really excited for this company, and this investment, I believe, will be a fantastic investment for Indicator Ventures.
On today's special segment, we have David Verrill of the Hub Angels Investment Group. David, can you tell us a story about a startup you invested in, how you met the founder, and what made you say yes?
Sure. We've got a really neat company in our current Fund 5 portfolio called Board on Track, and it's a software as a service product for initially, and the go-to-market strategy is focused on charter schools. So charter schools have some unique capabilities and some unique aspects. It's a very high growth industry. I think given the quality of the public school system, charter schools are popping up. They are not for profits. They have open meeting laws that are required of their board meetings. They have a lot of volunteers, typically who have some wealth, who've helped support the school. So we met a woman CEO probably 2 years ago, and she had spent the last 15 years of her life consulting to charter school boards, particularly those that were not doing well. And she had developed initially a heuristic on what she felt were the key ingredients for success in charter schools, and she converted that into a software product. She had sold about $1 million of it in her first year. And we met her. She was so knowledgeable about the space. She basically knew everybody. Probably the smartest person or most experienced person in the charter school space. Now, one of the things that we look at is a large market opportunity. And while the charter school space is growing, it's not $1 billion market. It's pretty distributed. There aren't yet a lot of organizations that sort of bring them together to make the distribution inexpensive, but we sort of felt that if she could establish a beachhead and we could really put together just a beautiful product that we could move it into other not-for-profit spaces, which, the world of philanthropy is $1 trillion marketplace. So we fell in love with the fact that she had unique knowledge and it was a growing space. And there obviously was a feel-good story about it in that we were in a maybe arm's length way improving the prospects of education for K through 12 education. So a lot of aspects brought us to that opportunity, and we thought she was really a unique person. And we've put a great board of people around her, a balanced board around her to really help her build parts of a business that she hasn't had to do previously, like a sales force and like a customer service program. So, it's really been nice to see the company get established and grow, and it was nice to have some diversity amongst the CEOs in our portfolio.
Recently, sort of the makeup of entrepreneurs has come up a lot on the program. I'm curious to hear more about if you find founders that are incredibly deep and incredibly skilled in a specific area, or if more often than not you find founders that are very well-rounded and good at a lot of different things.
Well, you certainly see them all. Given the schools in my region and the incubators and accelerators, we see a lot of young entrepreneurs who quote, want to be an entrepreneur. They want to be a startup CEO. So that's one big category. Then there are people who are experienced CEOs. They've done it before. They might have done venture in the past and want to do a more capital efficient model. There are people who've been operators that have uncovered a particular issue, a pain point that they've felt that they want to fix, and that's their path to becoming a CEO. We really like people that have unique knowledge, and you don't find that in a lot of 25-year-olds, but you do find that in people who have been in a sector for a while. So that's really something keen that we look for. We're looking at a company in the blockchain space, and blockchain is really high on the hype curve. There aren't really any implementations of blockchain technology aside from in the cryptocurrency area. So it's a hope and a dream. But we found two co-founders with really unique knowledge and access to a couple of big potential clients that are doing pilots. So, we like that combination of things. And, you find people in any of those buckets, but obviously those that have unique knowledge and or have experienced a unique pain are those that have the makeup that we're looking for.
That will conclude this installment of Investor Stories. If you're enjoying the program and would like to see it continue, take a moment and leave a 5-star review in iTunes. Also, if you'd like updates on new content from TFR, as well as the top 10 VC articles every week, go to fullratchet.net and sign up for the newsletter. Okay, that will wrap things up for today. Until next time, over-prepare, choose carefully, and invest confidently. Thanks for joining me.